To the cloud. So that way we have this. Troy, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. Floor is yours.
All right. We are just going to start here with a little presentation. And we're going to go, today we're actually going to dive in to some more advanced prompting for ChatGPT. So some people, we've only scratched the surface. There's people out there who are doing some really crazy stuff with it, and it starts to look more like computer programming than chatting with ChatGPT. So we're not going to get that crazy, but we are going to get a little bit more advanced than what we've been doing. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll run through a few slides, and then we'll do some examples. And then I've got some stuff I'm going to share in the chat, and that way we can kind of do some examples together, and you guys can play along on your ChatGPT as well. So here we go. All right, so we're going to continue our kind of AI for real estate here, talking about advanced prompting today. So first of all, we just want to define kind of what is a prompt. So on this month's training session, we're going to delve into how we apply the ChatGPT AI and how we get a little bit more complex on our AI prompts. So first of all, let's just define what an AI prompt is. So a prompt is any text input that you give to an AI system that's designed to generate a specific output based on the information provided. All right. So in the context of real estate, as we've discussed, that can be drafting emails, setting up, helping with client questions, writing listing descriptions, reviewing contracts. All of those things are prompts. And so any text input that guides the AI to produce tailored output, that is the definition of the prompt. And understanding how to do quality prompts will help you be more efficient and accurate when you're working. And so the quality of your prompt is really going to generate the quality of your output. So the better you prompt the AI, the better the output is going to be.
Yeah.
So advanced prompting that we're going to talk about today goes beyond basic commands. So instead of just draft an email, we're going to get a more complicated structure to how we do those prompts. And this will allow you to get kind of more sophisticated information out of the GPT models.
I'm sorry, Troy, but there is something speaking in the back and I cannot hear you well.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that too. I'm not sure who. Robert, do you see who that is?
Yeah.
I think that's Robert.
Thank you.
Have it, but it still probably makes it worse.
Yeah.
It makes it worse. That's why someone said it, and she doesn't understand.
Is it Robert?
If I have something here, and then
No, it says Vivian Gutierrez.
Because when you have anxiety, the thing is like you have something if there's a more.
Yeah, but I don't even think I feel anxious sometimes. I think sometimes you're back, sometimes you do think.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. We'll see if we can get it muted.
Yeah.
I think it's Viviana.
Yeah, maybe some
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Yeah.
So I got to meet an appointment with Dr. Coley to see maybe on next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So next Wednesday, I was going to work at the office. But he's going to do it. For whatever reason, they said they can do a telephone meeting. A call
On the phone.
So I can either work on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't have the ability to mute
Yeah,
somebody.
I'm just
so
gonna call.
I just reached out to Robert.
That's
We'll see
fine.
if we can get that. There we go. We're all good. Okay, so that's just a basic introduction to what a prompt is and what an advanced prompt is and how we're going to jump into advanced prompting. And so I am going to send this out to Robert so he can distribute to everyone, but I've got an AI prompting cheat sheet that I'll get to everybody. And so we're just going to do a couple of examples so you can see how you can make more complex prompts using GPT. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but you've got your kind of role. You've got act as a, create a task, show as format. You can set restrictions. So you can use these different roles. So you can say act as a teacher, for example, and then create a task. So you can combine these. So you can tell ChatGPT, let's say act as a teacher and create a sample book outline. And so ChatGPT will create this little book outline for us. So in this example, we combined a role and a task. So we asked it to act as a teacher and create an outline. And so this content's good, but it's kind of hard to use content that's just in ChatGPT. So now we can ask it, show me the outline as a PDF. So we're using the show as prompt. So show as format, and we've chosen PDF. It's going to look at it. It'll get there. It's actually gonna create a PDF for us that we'll be able to save in PDF format and send out from there. So it's working on it. And there it is. So we can choose download PDF.
Troy, is this in the free or you have to pay for this chat GPT?
This is the paid version. So this one is it's $20 a month for this one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. But there we go. So that's the first example of how we kind of used the different prompts on our cheat sheet to create something. So we asked it to act as a role and create a task. And then we asked it to show that task as a PDF. And so here is our outline, but in PDF format. Then we can go back and set different restrictions. So the next one is set restrictions. And so we can ask it to add some pop culture references to our outline. and it'll do that. While it's working on that, I'm gonna again, I'll send this to you. And they've got their create formula for prompt engineering. So the C is for character. So you're going to define your AI's character or your AI's role. So act as, act as a lawyer, act as a journalist. Request is the second one. So you're going to give it a specific request. So rather than saying write a sales email for a sports car, you might specify write a compelling sales email for a Cougar Hypersport with electric car and top tier acceleration. So the more details you give it, the better your prompt is going to be. The E is for examples, so you can provide it examples of what you're trying to get out of it. A is adjustments. So as it creates, you can tell it, I don't like this, I don't like that, add a pop culture reference. And then you can give it the type of output. So the show as format, so you can get it as a PDF document or a rich text document or a spreadsheet, a table. You can create lists. And then extras, and it goes through a bunch of extras. So this is a great resource, this cheat sheet on creating more advanced prompts. And what I've done is gone out and actually looked up some resources. I'm going to paste these into the chat right now. But we've got a few. So the first one is 40 game-changing chat GPT prompts that every agent should use. And so this goes through, you've got a bunch of different examples here of more advanced prompts that you can use for different things. So attracting clients, help with your social media optimization, answering tough questions. So there's 3 different links that I will paste in here. So let's go ahead and try some of these out. So let's try, give me an SEO optimized Facebook post with 3 reasons buying a home in Oceanside is smart right now.
What does SEO stand for?
So SEO stands for search engine optimization. So when people are searching for Oceanside real estate, this will have certain keywords that are more likely to be found. and this post is more likely to come up in a search on Google, for example, than if it wasn't search engine optimized. So it gives you all the hashtags and get your post put together. So again, you've got a few resources. There's the 40 game-changing chat GPT prompts, and then we've got this one's got 141 prompts that you can look into. And most of these are a little bit more complex than what we've been doing. So they give, like we talked about in how to create a more complex prompt, we've got more specifics and examples in these prompts that you're going to see. And this one, which is the 141 valuable chat GPT prompts, goes through a bunch of different examples on different topics. And so you can play around with these. These should work just fine in the free chat GPT as well as the paid version. And then we've got one more. This one's another 30 prompts that is specific just to marketing. So these are great prompts that you can use working on marketing. And the way I found all of these websites and examples is I asked ChatGPT. So ChatGPT went out, looked online, and found these. There's a lot more websites and examples out there of prompts that you can use and more advanced prompts that you can use. So I want to hear what you guys are doing and how you've been using ChatGPT in the last month since our last meeting, and get some ideas about how everybody's using the technology.
Well, I'll tell you, I had a listing and I just put in, first of all, I don't use it very often, so it takes me a while. But I typed a description and then I copied it to Chat GPT, and I have the free version. And I just said, enhance this. It was that simple. And, I had to delete some of the stuff, but it was pretty good. It was very, oh, I know. Yeah. And I did that for a newspaper article that I submitted also. And it was, I said, enhance it, and it gave me more flowery terms.
Right. Yeah, it does a great job of that. It takes my boring emails and makes them not so boring.
Yeah, well, I don't use it for email.
I use it for email, texts, letters, everything.
Are you using the paid or the free version, Armand?
I use the free version, and as a matter of fact, I used it just yesterday with a letter for a potential client. And she sent it to me. I looked at it. I sent it back to her, and I said, I did a little few revisions for you, and she just loved it. It makes you look 10 times smarter.
It makes me look 30 times smarter.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem for me. It makes me look too smart and people know the difference.
And then they meet me.
Well, I recently used it as an email and I did it as a template to kind of follow up with my contacts with all the rain. So I asked it to do a nice follow up how everybody's doing with the rain. So it turned out really nice. And I'm sending them now, actually.
That's great. Tons of ways to use it. Who else? Who else is using it?
From the company, Troy, we did what you showed us last week on doing the 5 social media posts, scheduling those out.
Oh yeah.
We did that with a couple agents. Went in there and scheduled out the 5 posts for them just based on that. That was cool. So we did that for a few people.
Yeah,
So
I've been
Troy,
using that for my LinkedIn posts.
yeah. So I got the paid one, and there's a book called Exactly What to Say that has a lot of powerful questions to ask clients. So I uploaded the questions, I trained it on the questions and I said, remember these, give me 5 call to actions for someone to sell their house and give me 5. Came out with some really good stuff that we're using in our follow boss.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, we did something similar on the property management side, Aaron. We actually I had it generate our entire follow-up boss campaign. So it did a really good job, and then Hunter and his team jumped in and refined it because they understand that stuff a lot better than I do. But as far as a base framework, I think Hunter was pretty impressed. He's like, "Did you come up with this?" I was like, "Well, Chat GPT did," but uh and our drip campaign, texts, calls, and I trained it a little bit first and then asked it to produce something, and it put a good mix of calls, text message, email, and laid out the timeline and everything, and that's really been effective for us utilizing it in Follow Up Boss too. Who else? I know more. There's got to be some more ideas out there.
Well, one of the things I heard from someone on YouTube, when you have a folder, for example, I have a call to action folder, I have a YouTube script folder, keep that type of questions in that folder, because that folder, Ian, you may have already said it, because I've not gone to every one of your trainings, but yeah, keep that content in that folder. If it's a call to action, train them. That's your call to action folder. If it's a listing description, that is your listing description folder, because it only gets better and smarter the more you train it. And once, like, I still have to tweak stuff for YouTube scripts, but once I get it back from Chat GPT and I change it a little bit, take that script and go back in and say, hey, I modified what you did. Please review what I did. Very powerful.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So just for so that you guys know what Aaron's talking about, I'm going to share my screen again. So all your chats stay over here on the left-hand side of the screen. So this is the one that we just did. This was one I was playing around with earlier. Whatever, they don't communicate with each other, but this folder right here will know everything that's been said within that folder. So as long as you keep talking to the same one, it'll continue to learn and it'll get better, and you can continue to train it. The other thing that you can do is you can actually just highlight everything in one of them, one folder, and you can do 2 things on this, Aaron. You might like this if you haven't figured this out and done this already yourself. You can create a new chat and then paste like multiple folders in and tell it, hey, I've been talking to you about calls to action and I've been talking to you about listing agreements, but I want you to combine that knowledge and I want you to learn and be able to talk intelligently about all of that together. And you can just paste them together, and then it has all of the knowledge of both of those chats.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And for those of you, again, if you're using it for email, you can go back, go into your sent folder and just cut and paste old emails that you've sent, cut and paste 50 of them into a folder in ChatGPT. And before you do that, tell it, hey, I'm going to paste a bunch of emails that I've written, and I want you to learn my writing style. And it'll read and learn that. And then as it's then you just use that to generate emails, and that folder will get smarter and smarter and learn to sound like you more and more. Robert may not want that.
And Troy, that one is also available for the free version, correct?
Yes. Yep. You can use the folders on the free version as well.
Thank you.
So I'm going to be interested. You guys have a lot of resources there on those 3 links that I posted. So I'm really going to be interested to hear from you next month on how everybody's used those and what kind of results you've gotten. It does not, the question was asked, does it connect to Follow Up Boss? It does not connect directly to Follow Up Boss. I don't think you can connect ChatGPT to anything right now, but I know Follow Up Boss has its own little AI tool. In fact, I know it does. Everything has AI now. LinkedIn has its own AI. So if you're writing something on LinkedIn, it gives you the option to rewrite it with AI. And I don't think those are as good, just because, like Aaron pointed out, if you've got a folder that you work in all the time, that's going to be really honed in and trained really well to work the way you want it to. And if you're just using these random ones that pop up on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever you see them, they won't know any of that. So they'll just be running off basically they're just running off a brand new chat from ChatGPT that doesn't know anything. So
Troy, so we're talking about folders. Do you recommend to open folder, for example, a folder for sellers, a folder for buyers? Do you recommend to organize those folders if you're using it?
I like to organize them by kind of what I'm trying to get the GPT to do. So I'd want to I've got like a folder for emails. So every time I'm composing emails or having it help with emails, I try to do it in there, because any feedback it gets on that, it remembers for the next time it needs to generate an email. So I might have one, if you're using it to write listing descriptions, for example, I would have a folder that's all listing descriptions. And it'll get better at learning what you want your listing description to sound like. And then if you want to, again, combine that, you can always open a new chat and paste it in there along with folders from, whatever else you're working on. So you could combine listing descriptions and emails, for example. And that way, if you want it to write a listing email, it would have all of that information, how you like your listings and how you like your emails. So.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed part of the class, but my question is, sometimes when I use it, I say, well, write an email, for example, saying this and that and that. And the way that he say it, I don't like it, so I had to make modifications.
Yep.
So can I change the modification, like you say, put it in your own words so they know what is your writing style? How can I save that in order to ChatGPT knows what is my style? Probably you say that and I missed it.
Yeah. So what I would do is create a folder
Uh-huh.
for emails. And then I would tell Chat GPT, I would say, I'm going to paste a number of emails that I've written into the chat, and I want you to analyze them and learn my writing style.
Oh, okay.
And then just go in your sent items and copy and paste 50 or 100. It'll take a little bit of time, but if you do that, it'll learn how to write like you, and it'll sound very much like it's coming from you. And then you can ask it to enhance the language a little bit, and it can do that without coming off as kind of so academic like it tends to do if you just go ask it. A lot of times when you ask it to do something, it talks the way that people don't really talk. It's not people I know or hang out with.
Okay, thank you.
Esteemed colleagues.
Esteemed colleagues. We need to get Blake on here. See what he's doing.
Just as long as we don't see his search history, I think we're okay.
I know he uses it for a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people use it for a lot of things, but yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, it's efficiency. Efficiency. So Troy, if we write an email using Chat GPT and we get sued based on the content, can we put the lawsuit to Chat GPT?
We can always try.
I didn't write it. What do you want from me?
I'm sure that's in their terms of service somewhere.
Okay, all right. I'm just always looking for a way. What can
I'm
we
gonna
do?
post that. I realized I can post the Chat GPT cheat sheet into the chat as well. So the PDF of that is now in the chat, and you can get it there. So the 3 links that get you a couple of hundred prompt ideas, as well as the cheat sheet, are available in the chat today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes.
Well, Robert kind of brings up a good point there, even though he was joking. Like, does it know our legalities? Like, is it somehow connected to the laws and terms of real estate where it knows what not to say?
It if you're using the unpaid version, it will know everything up until like 2021 or whenever it's trained until. If you've got the paid version, it can look online. And so a lot of times what I'll tell it is, on property management, and just like with sales, we've got fair housing laws that we have to worry about. On the property management side, those are really big. There's people that go around just trying to find the listings and get their $60,000. So when I write it, when I ask it to write something, I always tell it to avoid any fair housing language. And the paid version will look online, update itself, and make sure it's not saying anything. You still have to double check it yourself. It doesn't know 100% all the time what it's doing. So it always needs you to validate it. Don't just blindly trust it.
It makes sense. Always double check, just in case.
Right. Yeah, because I guarantee you, if you use it to write something and you post it and it's a DRE violation, they're not going to care that you used ChatGPT to write it. They'll say you as the agent should know what to post or not post. Nice try though, Robert.
I'm just always looking for a way out, man. That's just make sure I'm covered. There you go. Pretty soon, though, Troy, we're gonna have this stuff actually defending us in court.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as you're nice to it.
Here's my attorney, Mr. Mrs. Chachibit.
I saw a car driving itself yesterday in Phoenix. It was like an Uber without a driver. And it was going down the street in Phoenix with no driver, like kind of creeped me out, but we're getting robots to do everything for us now.
Have you guys seen the big problems with the self-driving, the big traffic jams that happened? I think one was in like Houston, and I forget, maybe one was in Vegas, but they can't. So something happened where police had to direct traffic, but the self-driving car doesn't understand what it's, that there's a police officer there. All it sees is that there's a person in the road, and it can't go anywhere. And so it caused these huge traffic jams outside of a couple of events where those were. It was pretty crazy.
The only, I saw something similar, but in a movie.
Sometimes
Probably got it for reality, huh?
sometimes it feels like a movie. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you jumping on today with me for this. Hopefully that stuff is helpful, and these are some good resources for you. And I'm really excited to hear how everybody's doing this in the next meeting, and what you guys have been able to do with those resources.
Sounds good. Troy, you're the man, buddy.
Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.